Hello. I thought I would take a few minutes and show how I make a flip pocket so that it is used as a journal spot and a way to make use of a page that you might not otherwise have been able to make much use of. Before I get into that, I just want to give a little peek here of my sidekick. She's in the basket. That's the basket that I think it was her mom that first claimed it as a, instead of being an in basket, it's a cat in the basket. That's okay, because that means I can have all this clutter about and they won't get into it. So I'm not even wearing a clean sweater for this, and I don't normally wear rings around the house. So this is just me, how I am when I'm crafting. Just stuff everywhere. Yeah. So I like using book pages and putting them right into a journal. This is a journal that I'll be hopefully doing a flip through later this week or next week. And I like the illustrations and I like most of the words and stuff. And I don't really want to cover them up. But one way you can use this space is turn a pocket into a flip. So you can glue it this way or you can glue it this way, like that. And then you've got a tuck spot. You've got this here preserved so you can still read it. And then you also have a journaling spot here. I always use a writing board with my journal, so it doesn't matter where the writing spot is. I can use it. So I'm thinking this will be a good spot down here to glue it. So I think I'll do that because I'm going to use my Aleene's tacky glue that I keep in an old high-tack bottle. I keep refilling it because this lets out the glue gradually. It's not like, it doesn't come pouring out, making a big mess. That's why I like to use this old one here. And then I store it upside down in my utensil jar. So let's just put that on here. So I thought, well, I'll just cover part of the writing, and the tag's not too tall, so I can have it, the pocket glued up quite high. And I'll leave this here showing. And I like how this color goes with that and with that. So that's why I picked this pocket. I made this pocket months ago and I had it in my box of things that I use. And I think it might be my last one I've made, which is probably just as well, because even if I really like something, after a while I get tired of it. So, but then when I went to see if there were any more, actually I felt a little sad, like, oh no, there's no more. Not that I can't make more, because all this is a small envelope cut in half and then decorated up and stamped and stuff. In fact, that would be a fun thing to make, maybe this evening. I'm hanging out with my husband, but we'll see, because I got two other things I want to work on. So there you go. You get to make use of the space without covering up the writing, and you have a tuck spot and an extra journal spot. I like it. So I'll show you the other one I did in here. Here it is here. And I made this one out of a coffee filter. And I was given a bunch of coffee filters for a different idea, but I never did use it for that, so I'm using them for this. And I coffee dyed them, of course, or tea dyed them. I don't remember if this is coffee dyed or tea dyed. But I did them all at the same time, probably a year ago. So this is doing the same thing I did with the other pocket. It's a book page. I didn't want to cover up the writing because it's interesting. And so I made a pocket, and then rather than just gluing the pocket on, I glued paper on the back. And I glued paper strategically. And what I mean by that is I used paper that I wasn't going to use the the printed side anymore, because so rather than waste and throw this out and recycle it, because this picture didn't turn out very clear, I'm using this side to glue against whatever it is I want to glue against. And then I still have the other side for writing. So that's what I did with this. And you can kind of tell a little bit, but I think that just adds to the charm of it. You can just sort of make out that there's words and stuff behind there, like it's a book page. And then when I glued this on, leave a little extra, like when you cut it, so that you can use that to glue onto the page. And that's something I've figured out, and so I didn't do quite enough on it the first time, but now I know to do that. That's what trial and error is about. And so I thought, well, let's share this idea. So I'm sharing it with you. So I'll just close this, because this is a journal that I'm still working on. I hope to do a flip through on Friday, or sooner, or later. And you know about my cat eating paper, so not the one that's beside me right now, the mama, who was just up here a moment ago. She's cuddled up on the chair behind me, so that's good. That means she'll stay out of trouble. So to make a pocket out of a coffee filter, I don't remember where I got this idea about using circles, but I don't know that anyone else is doing the circle thing with coffee filters. Probably. There's nothing new under the sun, according to Ecclesiastes. So I'm going to fold it like this, so that the two edges of the circle just meet. And there's different ways to do this, but this is the way I like to do it. Then I fold this up to, I don't know, the length that I think looks good. I mean, you could fold it up higher, you could fold it up lower. I usually fold it up around, I guess, a third of the way up. Press it down. You can use a bone folder for this, or whatever you have handy. And then on the other one that I showed you, I glued a small doily onto it and brought it around to the back. But because I'm going to do the paper thing, like I said before, I wonder if these are wide enough so that I can have the edge. No, so I'm going to have to find one of my other papers that,
or, well, you know, they didn't turn out that great, so I might as well use them for this.
Yeah, here's one. Part of it didn't turn out very clear. So this was me having some fun with my own photography. And this one's nice. This one's nice. These two didn't turn out so good. So I'll cut off a piece of this to use for this project. Be right back, because I'm going to put it through my guillotine. So there we go.
And I'll save the good ones back in the file where it was.
Now this should be wide enough. Yeah, that's wide enough. So what I'll do is, how did I do it last time? I know what I did. I remember. I used, I'm using Scotch permanent glue, which I think it's the same glue that Pam at the Paper Outpost uses, and it's supposed to be really good. So if you're not going to be doing any sewing on it, then you'd want to put maybe some other stronger glue, like the other stuff I use, Elaine's Tacky Glue, around the edge too. But I'm going to be sewing this on the edge because I just love that look. So I'm not going to put the stronger glue on. So I'm going to put this. Okay, while I'm doing this, I'm thinking, which side do I want the flap to be on? I want it to be on that side, because that's usually where I put the pockets. But it doesn't matter, because it depends on which page you put it on. And then I'm going to press it down, like so. So you can see a little bit of the printing come through, which would look really cool if it was words, like. But the thing is the idea is you want to have a plain back, because you want to create an extra writing space. So then what you do is you get your scissors, you have paper scissors, and you cut around the edge so that you end up with, and I'm going to cut down like that because so that when I fold this over it won't show when I glue it onto a book page, a journal page. This one I'm not going to use in this journal since I already have one in it, but I'm working on another journal on the side, one that I won't be selling because it's going to have Daphne's Diary stuff in it, but it's maybe one I can use for a giveaway or for a gift. So now we've got this extra little piece here for gluing onto a page. Yay. And now I'm going to go back to this doily that I almost stuck on when I wasn't supposed to yet, because I like the idea of bringing it up around here. I mean, you don't have to, but I think that looks pretty to have it like that. So, and even before I do that, I'm going to, this is totally optional, of course, I'm going to do some inking on the edges. Oh, I've got my glue page underneath protecting. Well, I don't need to protect this. This is my work surface too, and I have a roll of this so I can just roll out fresh stuff, but and I often use that too. Like this here, when it's all grungy, it's great for a grungy themed journal stuff to make. Like I've got my big roll from when I first started junk journaling, slowly using bits off of it, set aside, and it comes in really handy if you like a bit of grungy theme in your journals. You just never know. You can't keep everything, but you know, if this little voice says, hey, you should save that, consider that it might be telling you the truth. I don't want to do along there too. So happy I got a couple of Christmas presents wrapped up yesterday, because my grandson was coming over for supper. I say my grandson's coming over for supper. Yeah, well, his whole family's coming over for supper, but yeah, when you're in grandma mode, you're thinking, oh, my grandson's coming over for supper. Yeah, I think that's trimmed enough. And I wanted him to be able to look under the tree and notice that there was a present for him under there, because I know that he does look, because like, who wouldn't when you're that age? And he looked so pleased to see that there was a little stack all tied together with ribbon under the tree for him. Yeah, grandparenting. Grandparenting is dessert. And when people don't have grandkids, one of my acquaintances, often elderly people will adopt, I mean, not officially, but you know, emotionally will adopt somebody else's kids for their grandkids, because you know, maybe they don't have grandparents that are still alive or don't live in the same community. And I think that's a really sweet idea too. So I'm putting both glues on this. And that's a habit I learned from Natasha at Treasure Books. This is still sticky. If it gets sticky, then I have to switch the page to a non-sticky page. Because that way, I find the stick glue grabs right away. And positioning it like so. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Gently rubbing it on. Get sure there's no air pockets. And this ruler has kind of a roundy side to it, so I use that so that it's less likely to tear. That's how I do my magazine pictures as well, onto pages or tea-dyed paper for making journal cards. Now I could do some more decorating after I sew it or before. So if you're not going to sew it, then of course you'd want to glue here and here, and then press it gently, and then you're ready to put in something here or here, and ready to maybe decorate here. And this of course is ready to stick onto a journal page. Glue it, and I would use not stick glue, I would use your good glue that you trust, like tacky glue or whatever, art glitter glue, and then yeah, then it would be ready. See, and you can journal on both sides. I think I want to ink up a little bit on that side too while I think of it. So what do you think of this idea about not necessarily permanently covering up book page that you have in your journal, but at the same time you're kind of making more use of the space for journaling? Because you may have noticed I obsessive about making lots of writing spaces. That's because I journal it pretty much every morning. I don't even remember the last time I missed a morning. And it's not something that, it's not what I call something I have to do, it's something that I want to do. And my goal with it is to connect with the Lord, connect with what am I really feeling, and what is my conscience saying, and what am I thankful for, and what am I hoping for, and what am I worried about, and yeah. And I always feel better after. No matter whether it's an easy season or a difficult season, I always feel better after. So, how long is this video right now? I'm wondering if I should just leave it here because I've already showed you what I did on the other ones. And you can just use your own imagination of how you could decorate that. Like on the one in here, let's see, what did I do? I put some, there's the doily, of course. Then I put a little bit of like lace. This was from was a torn quite large doily, and then I went, oh my goodness, it's torn. Oh, I can use that for junk journaling. So that was good. So I coffee dyed some of it, and then I put a little butterfly that I'd made from one of those I forget what you call them, that once you can cut them out yourself. And then keeping with the theme of nature, I put in a little card that I had done some dyeing on from fern from on a walk that I went on. And this is made from, it was from I think it might have been an address book. So there was a picture on both sides, but I like this side the best. And so then I just glued some paper on the back here. And by the way, I've got to show you something. If you ever find these at a thrift store, especially if they're already aged, these rolls, this one is already old, so I don't have to dye it. And I have a couple of white ones that I do dye, coffee dye or tea dye. This is great for when you want to make a quick and easy writing spot on something. And just trim the edges, decide how big it should be, cut the corners on it, and there you go. Like, no measuring really. No cutting, hardly at all. Yeah. I think I'll end the video here, because I think you can imagine what one could put here. And I'm thinking, well, since it's going to go in my other journal that is the one I work on the weekends, I'll just go set it with that now, and then I'll use probably Daphne's Diary stuff on it to finish decorating it. Yeah. I hope this encouraged you to consider making more use of any of the spaces that you have in your journal that you want to, but don't want to lose the writing that's there. Bye.